Boom. When the boom comes in with the laugh, it's even more sinister. Just like
It is, isn't it?
Dave's very interesting choice of mustache. A little shorter, and it's very controversial.
I know it's a little on the lid, isn't it? It's just
Just at that point, we're like, that mustache isn't allowed, sir.
it'll be fine if I was friends with certain people in high places, I'm sure.
Mr. Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm all right, thanks, dude. Just getting through not having any facial hair. It'll come back for the next episode, but for the minute,
You should keep that on until it all does. That'll be your facial hair.
All the time, even in bed.
Yes, all the time. Well, just on the podcast. It'll blend in.
Deal.
Welcome, everybody, to the Omniverse Comics Guide podcast. We are your Omniverse Comics Guide guys. As I said before, that's my pal Dave. I'm Eric Anthony, as you can see on the lovely, wherever my name might be. Oh, I can see it on the screen. No, it's not there. Anyways, we are here for our April incoming episode. This is one of our favorite stuff to do, talking about things that are about to come out, things that we want to buy, things that we could recommend other people to buy if they haven't had the chance yet. So hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. Please visit us at the omniversecomics.guide website, where you can catch all of our episodes that we've had with numerous creators, top 10s, collector item specials. We've got reading orders. What else we got there, Dave? What am I forgetting?
Special features. We've got what to read before. We've got all sorts of new bits coming too soon, like Many Armors of Iron Man, which is going to be available to all.
Very soon.
And manga episodes.
But as I say all the time, and it's not hyperbole, if you're looking for a crossover event that you want to be able to catch every issue or every moment that mattered or maybe didn't matter and what you need to skip, Dave's reading orders are second to none. I use them for my podcast preparations when I'm doing a creator interview or even doing a book club. Check out omniversecomics.guide. Dave,
yes.
I think we should shave the mustache.
I think you're right.
The universe is saying that mustache is inappropriate, sir.
I don't know. I'll just hold it here.
This episode will never be monetized on YouTube.
I can't see why not.
This week we've got a mailbag.
We do.
Is that what a little birdie told me? We got a mailbag this week?
We have a mailbag this week. I was very kindly sent from... Screw it. Adam Rose and Magenta King have sent me a copy of four issues of their little note, you guys. 4 issues of Huge Detective, which is from Titan Comics, which I think is based here in the UK. And I think it's the 6-issue mini, but they very kindly sent me the 4 issues. I'm going to have a read and drop a little video review when I have done so. Hopefully not before too long, so I've still got to read the Gunganir books as well. It's just been a bit of a busy month. Stay tuned for details on our prize draw, where you can win yourself a new Frightful 4 t-shirt, which is exclusive to the Omniverse Comics Guide.
Who's first this week with the picks?
It is you to start, sir.
It's a pretty good month.
It is a good month. It's a bit too good.
There's a couple things that haven't been released in these formats yet. Mm-hmm. The one that I'm picking is one that pops to mind. I'm not sure. Don't lose that.
Don't lose it in the copy.
The one that caught, I think, a lot of people's attention, and I think it may have even been in one of our top 10 most wanted omnibus episodes. I'm not sure, but I've collected these issues via the Epic Collection from Marvel, but now they're coming out with the Volume 1 of Silver Surfer: Return to the Spaceways. This is very exciting. I'm very happy about this because he's one of my favorite characters. Those who have watched our show recently know how much we love cosmic stories and how we plan to do plenty of them down the road. And I mean, if you're going to talk cosmic, who better fits that realm of stories than the Silver Surfer himself?
Yeah, too right.
Surf, right? And this is what I like about this particular era is that it's the first time the Silver Surfer wasn't being penned by Stan Lee. He was from what I understood, that one character that nobody else really got a chance to work with because it was very personal, or Stanley cared about that character so much that he's like, I don't want anyone to touch it.
So much so that he didn't let Jack Kirby draw it.
Right. Well, I don't know about that side of the story, but yes, there you have it. So this is Steve Englehart is starting off with the issue number 1. I know in the collection you've got some stuff from John Byrne,
Yeah, there's a
which
one
is very
shot from
cool.
John Byrne, and then it
Yes.
pretty much goes. It should go straight in to the Englehart relaunch from 1987.
Yeah. It's Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers for the first, I think, 14 issues or so. It's really cool stuff. We did a book club actually on it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this run. And then, of course, it goes into Jim Starlin.
yeah, straight into the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. So straight into the if you've got the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus, that is essentially the next volume on.
Beautiful. Yes. And I mean, depending how far you want to read into the Silver Surfer series, because there's creative changes and things like that. However, that's a great point. A lot of us who are longtime collectors have the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus, and this buttons up right to it in the best way possible, like perfect.
Yeah,
So if you're a fan of Marvel Cosmic, I think this is a pretty easy option to go with, especially if you like what follows with the Infinity Gauntlet in the early 90s. This is all leading up to that.
it is. There's some big storylines in there with Galactus as well, if you want some Galactus stories, and also the Infinity Gems before they become known as the Infinity Gems. There's a big storyline with those as well, and the Elders of the Universe and the Skrulls. It's really, like, people talk about important stories. I think it's an often overlooked part of Marvel history, but there's major stuff in it, like the Second Kree-Skrull War is in this book.
Would you say it's a hidden gem, perhaps?
Oh, I'd say it's a hidden gem, sir.
Ah, hey. So yeah, check out this Omni if you want to know a good place to start fresh with the Silver Surfer, because it begins in a way where you can carry on with the story and know what you need to know without worrying about, oh, how much other things that he's gone through do I need to read.
Yeah, it's really self-explanatory. There's the little tipping point with this, and the difference is the Surfer was trapped on Earth for years for betraying Galactus, and then in this book they find a way to leave Earth, and then it's off into space and all sorts of crazy adventures. So that's it. Oh,
Well, you take it away. I'm sure you're going to steal one from me.
all right. My next choice. You all right? My first choice tonight is probably a steal from you, actually. So, you. So it's Rook Exodus, Volume
See?
1.
All good. I was
Fight
hoping
or
you'd mention
Flight.
it.
Yeah, well, I thought you might, but I think if you hadn't taken my Silver Surfer, I would have let you have it. So it's by Jeff Johns, Jason Fabok, Brad Anderson. It collects Rook Exodus, numbers 1 to 6. Well, it's 192 pages as well, which is quite a lot for 6 issues. So I'm assuming some of them are a little chunkier, and there's probably some bonus material in there. Like, so, bonus material of Jason Fabok's art is, yeah, thanks, take that. Anything you've got by him, I'll take it, please. It's due out on April the 15th. Now, it's from Image Comics and Ghost Machine. Obviously, it's Jeff Johns, so it's Ghost Machine related. But it's not part of the unnamed universe. Geiger and Redcoat.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't realize
I
that.
don't believe it is part of that. I think it's its own thing.
We should.
So
yeah,
'cause it's
yeah,
not a
we-
Ghost Machine universe. It's the unnamed universe, which is part of Ghost Machine, which is under Image. It's not that it's confusing. I had to kind of really double check all this while putting the reading order together. So I am working on a reading order, but this won't be part of it. And that's. I mean, what more can you want? The things we've recommended Ghost Machine stuff plenty, and we're not putting it on here because the guys have been on, as we say all the time. But I'm genuinely looking forward to this one, possibly the most, I think, at the minute, because of that art team. That's an incredible art team. It looks really cool, and it's a new thing. I'm just really curious to see what they do, because they are great together, and they did some amazing stuff on Green Lantern. So I want to see more.
Great pick. I
Thank
like
you.
it.
And a steal.
And a steal. I might steal another one.
Oh.
Okay. This is one that I've purchased already.
Oh.
So it came out a few years ago. I have yet to read it. So I can't recommend it as far as, is it good? Isn't it not good? But I did buy it. with the total intention to read it. And it's a chunky one. It's a little bit off the beaten path of what I know and can speak on, but it's look at this son of Legion of Superheroes.
Oh.
5 years later, Omnibus.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to delve into the Legion of Superheroes, and I know this moment is a little bit more heavy lifting because it's stuck in a moment of comic book continuity that is kind of tricky.
Uh-huh.
What stays, what's different, what to understand going forward, but it is a dystopian sort of future. It isn't quite as off the top adventure-y as the Legion of Superheroes is known. It has a little bit more of an adult feel, a lot of story in it. That was the thing. Like, you're getting your money.
As hell, isn't it?
It's beefy as hell, and there's a lot. There's a lot of story involved. There's a lot of a lot, but I can show people how. Like, we're also collectors of like how good the book is put together.
Massive. I can't remember do you know what the page count is?
It is, I think, up to 1,400.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's in the 1,400s. Here's underneath what appealed to me was how well it was put together, and why would they did 2 volumes of this era.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the second one because I didn't read this yet. No, because it's it's a risky move, but the reason why this appealed to me was that the creative team was Keith Giffen, Mary Beerbaum, and Tom Beerbaum. They were a married couple that were writing alongside Keith Giffen.
Oh.
So it was a very interesting, like, creative endeavor of what they were trying to do. So I'm interested to try it out. Now, I don't know if I would recommend this for first-time comic book readers.
Mm-hmm.
I would say more so for people who want to have some work cut out for them in reading, right? We don't mind that. No. When you've read a lot, we enjoy, like, okay, like you're reading all of Crisis on Infinite Earths right now.
Yeah.
Talk about heavy lifting. You're like Spider-Man underneath Boulder. Right? Do it for Aunt May.
Do it for Aunt May. Aunt May loves Crisis. She's a huge fan.
But I thought it's kind of cool that I could be able to at least show the book. Even though I haven't read it, it's a really nice put together book. It's edited on the sites where it's on sale. It says that it's Mark Waid as a writer. I think he was an editor at the time. So that's a little bit of a, not a misnomer, but it's misleading.
Yeah,
that's it.
That is a bit
so,
misleading. It's like when they put Rick Remender on as a credit on some of the Busiek Avengers books, and he's actually a letterer?
He's an inker.
Oh, he's an inker.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, an inker. It's strange because you think of him as a writer, but he was an artist.
Completely. Totally forget that he was an artist at Marvel. Omega Bread says, apart from calling me the saying I look like the English Hulk Hogan,
brother, you're chomping on the wrong dog now, boy.
He said he really enjoyed that omnibus. I use one of the words I don't use. And the second volume has some great payoffs. So I think you need to get that second volume, dude.
Thank you, Omega Bread, for your input on that. I mean, it's been sitting on my shelf longer than I'd like to say, but I got it at a good price, and I wanted to give it a chance because it just seemed like there's so much story to unravel in a future time of DC that you're not necessarily bogged down by here's what everything else you've got to know.
Yeah.
This packs a punch, right? So we'll see.
Okay.
I'll try to get around to reading it and give a proper recommendation. But that's coming out in April.
Cool.
April 22nd.
Oh, everything's coming out April 22nd.
April 15th.
April the 15th.
Correct.
No worries. Ooh.
Come on, brother.
Okay. My number 3 tonight. No, it's my number 2. It's Law Remastered, which is from Image Comics. It was an immediate must pick for me because it's Ashley Wood and T.P. Louise, who I don't know who that is, collects the 2004 series Lore, Lore, 320 pages, out on April the 22nd. I know nothing about it, and I'm going to look it up on the Tinternets. Now, what it says on here is fine art meets dark fantasy in this remastered edition of the beloved boundary-pushing story. I think that means it's got a bit of porniness in it, hence my immediate purchase. A story of one woman's...
The mustache goes well with it, too.
I should have made it curl at that moment. The story of one woman's desperate search to uncover the truth of her father's death. So it's a unique mix of prose and sequential storytelling. So it's a little bit of a mashup, but it follows Jennifer Bradley's journey to solve the mystery of her father's death, but her search grows increasingly bizarre when what she discovers threatens not just her existence, but the entirety of modern society too. Mystery,
Thank you.
saucy artwork. I'm in.
Saucy. Nice. It's a good pick. Never heard of it.
Thank you.
But it's
Me
good
either.
that.
As soon as I saw Ashley Wood, though, like, boom, I'm having it.
All right, before the break, I'll bring us into my third pick. This is one I pre-ordered. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it, but I'm always tempted because I'm a big fan of this character. And I'm happy that another omnibus is being released in the name of Nightwing. This is during the Rebirth era. Comes out April 22nd. Tim Seeley. It takes over the book at this time.
Yes.
I'm a fan of Tim Seeley.
Me too. Big fan.
I enjoyed this series as it was coming out, as I was reading it, but it was one of the books I would wait for a collection.
Like
they
this.
did it like this or something. Yeah, or maybe in the hardcover formats. Never got around to it.
Oh, yeah.
But I did enjoy the first couple of series. For what I remember, Better Than Batman was the title of the first
you're
trade.
right. Mm-hmm.
So I have it pre-ordered. I'm still considering it, but it's Nightwing. And if you're a fan of Dick Grayson, this is as good of a place you could start because it's the Kyle Higgins Omni that followed was with the New 52, and then you had the Grayson series. This takes place after that, but you don't have to be bogged down by reading all of that stuff. You'll catch up real quick to where Dick Grayson is at this moment in his timeline, and check it out. I forget the name of the artists that are on it, but I know Tim Seeley is the writer throughout.
So do I. But yeah, I was paying more attention to Tim Seeley because I really, really love his writing. And like where he's done stuff like Local Man, which for me has been like right up there as one of the best books I've read in the last few years. I'll pick up anything he does. Plus, sometimes he does saucy things.
Saucy things. I like when you say that.
Let's take a look at what's new to the Omniverse. For character reading orders, we've got the original Hulk joined by the Red Hulk, Scar, 3 She-Hulks and more in the Hulk Family Reading Order 2008 to 2010. Events and crossovers. For Marvel, the full breakdown of Born Again lets you know what to read next and where the little-known Spider-Man tie-in fits into the classic Daredevil story. Plus, The Fall of the Kingpin is a direct sequel with more strange Spidey tie-in issues. For DC, Passion Nocturnal is a pre-crisis event that introduces a new love interest for Batman, she's a hot goth. And we've covered the sequel story, Nightmares Inc. Supergirl takes on the Cyborg Superman in the New 52 event, Out of the Past. For podcast and video, incoming collector editions for March 2025, and top 10 comic book fight scenes, round 2. And finally features, we've got our special What to Read Before series now available to all. This so far includes the DC event Legends and Day of Judgment, and the Marvel Comics event, The Infinity Gauntlet.
My friend Dave, doing the Lord's work. Where else are you going to get reading orders like that? And a stash.
And a stash.
That comes off and on is for your pleasure. Nice. Stick with the Hulkster.
Stick with the Hulkster, man. Well, I've got no choice now.
It agrees with you.
So, my number 3, eh? Is that what you're looking for? Is it?
That's what I'm looking for.
You cheeky little biscuit. So, my number 3 tonight is JLA Book 2. We don't normally do Book 2s, and the reason why I'm picking this book is they haven't called it a compendium. There's nothing to draw someone to it and know that it's a big beefy book. They've just called it the first one JLA Book 1 and the next one JLA Book 2, but they're actually pretty much compendiums. 584 pages. It's not super beef, but decent chunker. It's previously when they've collected the Grant Morrison stuff, they've left out any of the stories in between that Morrison didn't write, normally written by Mark Waid. But this is all the JLA stuff, all in order.
That's great.
So it includes JLA 10 to 23, JLA Annual Number 2, JLA Secret Files and Origins 2, New Year's Evil Prometheus 1, and JLA Well Without Grown-Ups 1 to 2. This is well worth picking up because all those complaints they had about not having everything all together, not having everything in order, why'd you leave out the annuals, all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're not bothered about being a completist, you've got that option out there. But those of us that like to have everything have been kind of scratching at this kind of stuff for a while, like, come on, give it up to us. And they're doing it. So this is where to do it. The problem is the naming. If they called it JLA Compendium Book 2, it would be an immediate draw, I think. But it's just getting lost in the shuffle because they've released so many JLA books now.
I
It's
didn't
hard
even
to tell.
notice that. I would have probably considered it had I noticed that was an option.
Uh-huh.
Interesting point. Yeah, I've definitely been on a bit of a compendium spree.
Bender.
Spree. Oh yeah, that's the right word. I've been reading compendiums, but also enjoying the purchase of, you know what? It doesn't come with all the frills,
Uh-huh.
but you get your money's worth for the story that you're really looking for.
Yeah, really good price,
And
normally.
yeah, and sometimes they're putting stuff in compendiums that they're not putting into omnis or into other formats, which whatever,
Hmm.
but it does make a difference in whether you buy it or not.
Oh,
Because
yeah, absolutely.
it seems that certain branding insinuates that it's going to continue. Like
Yeah.
there's a commitment, right? Whenever they put out, because they've got so many, like you said, different formats of JLA of putting it in a hardcover and re-release it, because they re-released the Grant Morrison hardcovers
Mm.
in trades.
Yeah, they did. And then they did the omnibus, but it also missed issues out. And it's like, well, why didn't you just do
Yeah,
JLA?
yeah. So this is nice. This is a good shout, and I think there's a lot of stuff in these issues, like a lot of classic essential stories, even character-driven ones. Very good stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, this is a dark horse option now that we could go with, but it was originally Image that it
Haha.
came out on, and I was potentially going to use it for a future episode, but now I don't know if it would classify as dark horse or Image. However, this deluxe edition of this story, Jupiter's Legacy from Mark Miller, and don't think it's Frank Quietly on the interiors. I know he's on the covers, but
I'm not
what's
sure.
collected in this, it's about 390 pages, a pretty thick book. I don't know if it collects both, like the entire story of Jupiter's Legacy and Jupiter's Circle. Not sure. However, it is one of those. It's an easy to dive into book, kind of in the vein of, and
Ooh.
I know I shouldn't make. What did you find, Dave? Tell me.
Frank Quietly does the art on the first miniseries,
Right,
but not
and then
the second. I
on,
don't. Oh, the second is by Wilfredo Torres.
that's right. That's right. And is the second one? I remember there was Jupiter's Legacy, and then there's Jupiter's Circle.
That's right.
I don't want to confuse them.
Yeah.
But the Jupiter's Legacy, it follows that. I don't want to call it a trope, but I'll go with trope. That
Oh.
sort of Kingdom Come kind of plot line where the children of the generation of superheroes, like a generation of superheroes have had children, and now their legacy, as it were, like in Kingdom Come. I know I'm talking about a different book, but in Jupiter's Legacy, the main superheroes in the 30s were. Have you read this, Dave?
No. I
Okay.
know very little about it, to be honest. I
Okay.
was going to, but I'm literally finding out now, or
Oh,
reminding
okay.
myself. Yeah, yeah.
Why you didn't read it the first time?
No, no, I don't know why I didn't read it the first time, to be honest. But
Yeah, I read it, I think, last in preparation actually for our Mark Miller episode. I read a lot of stuff that I hadn't gotten to before. And this one was very, very good stuff. But it's, again, Image Comics, so anything can happen. Creator owned. There's no editorial mandate that you've got to follow with the big two. But it's the premise of the story is, I think it's scientists or archaeologists discover this island that they acquire a set of powers. Each of them acquire a set of powers, and they become like a Justice League, where
okay,
they lord it over themselves. Like, we have the powers now, so we can basically run the world. And then they have children. So it's the legacy of these heroes
right,
and what their kids are like, and what the world would be like had something like this occurred prior to or during, World War II, during that era, and what becomes of people who amass that sort of power.
okay.
We're immortal now.
Because it looks like it's
It's good stuff.
Jupiter's Legacy. I think from what I've literally just read, is that's the main story, and Jupiter's Circle, Volume 1 and 2, are the prequel.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
I think.
You know what? I'm happy that you're checking that out, because I don't want to mislead what kind of story you're going to read.
Yeah.
But it is involving the legacy of the progeny, if you will, of these heroes. Heroes, right? But again, Mark Miller, Frank Quietly, you can't go wrong.
Well, you can't really, can you?
And don't judge it at all based upon the Netflix series that they put out there.
Oh, Scrubs was just asking about that. And
Wh-
I remember seeing a piss take of it. I think it was on his trailers or something, and it was just about how...
Because I'll tell you, Dave's mustache is better than the beards that they have in that show.
Well, you're saying, like... That's how to start a fight outside a pub here. Do you realise that? That's fighting talk. You might as well be looking at my pint. Right. My number 4 tonight is Slam. The complete collections from Boom Studios. It's by Pamela, apologies if I get any names wrong, Pamela Ribbon, Veronica Fish, Marina Julia, and it collects Slam 2016 Series 1 to 4 and Slam The Next Jam 1 to 4. It's about roller derby business.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool.
And the cover art looks really cool. I just really immediately liked it. The art style is just fantastic.
Nice.
I'm going to read out the explanatory. It says, from fresh meat orientation to becoming leaders on and off the track, follow Jennifer Knockout Chew and Maisie Can Huff on their journey to roller derby domination. Messy lives, complicated friendships, and new romance blossoms as they learn to take their hits and get back up, break some bones, take on adult responsibilities, and jam on their competing teams in the Eastside Roller Girls League. From best-selling novelist, Academy Award-nominated screenwriter, actress, and former Los Angeles Derby doll Pamela Ribbon. Is it Ribbon? R-I-B-O-N. And illustrator and painter Veronica Fish. And artist Marina Julia, who is known for Lumberjanes, apparently as well. So, and it's the definitive collection. So it's the 2 minis all in one book. And I don't know, immediately caught my attention. Got to have it. It's 224 pages. The Ace of Dames. The Ace of Dames. 224 pages. It's out on April the 29th. That one is going right up my nose. Young man.
Village people.
There's no need to feel down.
All right, Dave.
Okay, what have you got for your number 5, my dude?
My number 5. All right. This is a pretty easy pick. It's something we've spoken about before. It falls again into the cosmic category, and that's the Annihilation Omnibus reprinting. It's been re-released a number of times, but whenever it disappears, more people want it, and it's worthwhile. It's the beginning of a cosmic odyssey, no pun intended to the DC story, but Annihilation Conquest, and then you get into the, what was it called? War of Kings. I always confuse it with Realm of Kings, War of Realms, but it's the War of Kings saga follows it. But if you start here with this, it's a series or an omnibus that collects a number of miniseries. Do we have a reading order for Annihilation?
Do we have a reading order for Annihilation? Do we have a reading order for Annihilation? We've got all the other cosmic stuff that happens around it. Shows you how it all fits together.
You don't say, Dave.
I say, sir.
So with that said, the omnibus, you could read all the miniseries that eventually tie into the main storyline, the 6 issues of Annihilation, or if you want to read everything in a chronological order and follow the characters as they're experiencing all these things at the same time, you can check out the Annihilation reading order and know what to read throughout the book. It might take a little bit more mapping on your part, but at least you'll know this one first, that one next.
That you will.
And if memory serves correct, I think this omnibus is organized quite well. It's a fun ride. If you like taking, if you're into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Guardians of the Galaxy, this is where that seed is planted for that team to become what they eventually become, and quality story enough that they think that they can make a motion picture out of this ragtag team that no one's really heard about. But these stories here is where those seeds are planted. So check this out. It's worth your while. Did I steal from you?
No, not at all.
Good.
I did think you might steal from me, but you didn't, you cheeky little trickster. So I'm going to go with my number 5, and it's called Time Waits. It's a hardcover. It's from DSTLRY Media. It's by Chip Zdarsky, David Brothers, Marcus Toe, and it collects Time Waits 1 to 3, 152 pages. While, look, I think Chip Zdarsky seems like a really nice guy and a fun guy, But I'd be honest with you, I've not really warmed to anything he's written at all.
Really?
Never have done. It's like it's okay.
That's
Or else I
interesting.
just think, okay, and I leave it. I've dropped a number of titles I've tried from him. But I want to take a chance on this one. It says here, Chip Zdarsky, David Brothers and Marcus Toe take us on a sci-fi adventure that defies expectation and time itself. And you know I love time travel shiz, dude. The art looks really cool, but I mean, it's the time travel stuff. Meet Blue, a man trapped in the past, which is our present, sent back in time for a mission he could not bring himself to complete. The former soldier, Blue builds a life with Grace, the sheriff of a small rural town. The pair build a foundation of happiness on a history of bloodshed as far away from the trigger-happy corporate overlords that use Blue as a human gun. After 10 years together, Blue and Grace are on the cusp of taking the next step in their relationship, adoption. Before Grace can fully convince Blue to expand their family, the future comes calling. The overlords want their first deserter, and to complete the mission, Blue could not. They have one simple rule: kill anyone who stands in their way. Nothing's gonna stand in our way.
Nice picks.
Thank you.
Some classics,
You
some
too.
diversity, some new stuff.
Nice little
right?
mix. And
Little mix.
if anyone's
Very
been
cosmic on my
eyeballing
end.
my t-shirt, you little sauce pots, I don't blame you. It's super, super sexy. Yeah, so if you haven't watched our last episode, this is our Frightful 4, new Frightful 4 t-shirt with the villain version of the old classic Arthur Adams drawn Fantastic Four cover, 348. This is going to be available. We're going to give one away, large only, to
Anybody that's large.
to anyone
Yeah,
that's
to be
large. Here's how it works. The colouring is by Thomas Mason, so it's my illustration with Thomas Mason's colouring. If you want one of these t-shirts, and I hope your size is large because that's what we've got, what you need to do is create a permanent post on Instagram, that's a real or regular post, or on TikTok, telling people just how amazing the Omniverse Comics Guide is and why. Maybe you love the podcast, maybe it's the reading orders, maybe it's everything. Tell them to follow us on YouTube so you can win a t-shirt. Include the hashtag Omniverse Comics Guide, tag 5 people and us, so we're number 6, and send us a link to tell us what you've done, you naughty little biscuit, to omniversecomicsguide@outlook.com, and we'll enter you into the prize draw to win a new Fantastic Four t-shirt, large. Get it done and sent to us by Wednesday the 26th of March, and we'll announce the winner. Before we scoot, have you got time to drop any you didn't include, even if you got one or two?
Yeah, I do. I have one that was very close to being included was Universal Monsters Frankenstein from Michael Walsh.
Ooh.
I'm a fan of Michael Walsh. I think he's a great artist. Stuff that I've read from him has been very. Actually, it was one of the Chip Zdarsky issues of Spider-Man that was my favorite. Was drawn by him.
Oh, no way.
Yes, it sounds like a really cool take on the Universal Monsters. I thought I'd give it a proper shout because I like Michael Walsh, and this was, I think, him on the art as well as the script.
I listed 3 that I had a reserve, but I'll be really, really short on them. Dark Knights of Steel Deluxe Editions, of course, that's by Tom Taylor. It's an alternate DC universe with a medieval feel. DC Finest, my most anticipated DC Finest this month is Superman Family, The Giant Turtle Man. And the other one was Plastic Man No More, which is by Christopher Cantwell.
As always, incomings are a ton of fun. If everything goes according to schedule, and I think it will. Ooh, double stash. That's like Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Is it?
That's when he became a bad guy. He had
That's the one where the
black
sticky
beard.
came off, look. But it only sticks if I've got another moustache on. Oh, the irony.
Well, we'll be back next week, everybody. Thank you for joining us, of course. Don't forget to give us the thumbs up and the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube or on Twitch. Dave is getting ready for liftoff. And don't forget to visit us at omniversecomics.guide, where you can get your reading orders, your podcast episodes, collector item specials, manga episodes with Dave and is Raph Reads, right?
Mm-hmm. Ref reads.
Dave, as always, you're a beauty.
Your sauce bottle. Tally bally ho, everyone!